It's my nerd world here on the Blaster app. I am Jon Justice, and something kind of unheard of in my Star Wars fandom happened last night into this morning. I'm currently in studio for the regular Monday through Friday gig here on Twin Cities News Talk. But something unheard of happened yesterday and last night. I did not stay up for a new Star Wars trailer. And I don't know if that's indicative of anything else. I mean, it's kind of indicative of my difference of level of excitement between The Rise of Skywalker and The Mandalorian. But there was a new trailer that dropped as Disney starts their full push for the Disney Plus streaming app, which will debut here in a couple weeks with the first episode of The Mandalorian. Actually, that first 2 week we get 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. I'm excited for the show, don't misunderstand, but this is something that I'll get into further on the My Nerd World podcast later today that I'm planning on recording. But, you know, this is kind of the situation that Disney is in right now. I don't doubt that The Mandalorian is going to be great, and I'll share my thoughts here on the trailer here in just a moment. But there is a big difference between these saga films and these types of TV shows and ancillary stories. And I guess the best example I can give is sort of my excitement, even though I love Star Wars exponentially more than Marvel. But when you look at the regular films, your Ant-Mans, your Captain Marvels, right, your Thors, versus the Avengers movies, right? The sagas, you know, people speculate more on and get more into it than the individual side stories. And The Mandalorian is going to be a little bit different. I'm very curious to see if The Mandalorian is going to be able to develop that same type of saga feel that will create within the fandom that clamoring for information and discussion. The new trailer that dropped overnight, I actually think it's shorter than the trailer we got a couple months back. A few clips from the first trailer that we got. It looks great. Do not misunderstand. I am super excited for this show. In this trailer, I love the fact that they brought in some prequel-era imagery. It looks like perhaps we're going to get the backstory of the Mandalorian based on some of the footage. I thought maybe the child that we saw in the original trailer for The Mandalorian was the child that allegedly the Mandalorian is supposed to be protecting, and that doesn't seem to be the case. It may be the Mandalorian's backstory. Entertainment Weekly came out yesterday and said there was going to be some spoiler for the show, or for Star Wars in general, something that was going to change the way we look at Star Wars within the first episode. A lot of people speculating the Mandalorian is actually Boba Fett. I've had a theory about that for a long time. I don't think it's true. But if it is true, then I was spot on, and I'll share that theory on the My Nerd World podcast later on today. But look, all of this is to say I'm really excited for this show in a very different way than I am, say, something like The Rise of Skywalker. The other example I can give is my favorite band ever is Depeche Mode, and it's kind of the difference between getting a solo Depeche Mode project or even just a Depeche Mode single versus getting the entire album, right? There's a different level of fandom and enthusiasm that I have for the content. I hope that changes. I hope Disney can create the same type of myth building within the live action TV shows on the Disney Plus streaming service, whether it's the Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Cassian Andor. I hope they can create that same type of mythology and desire within the fandom to speculate ad nauseum over what comes next. Because that's the difference between, you know, again, the saga films and whether it's spin-off movies like Rogue One or Solo and these live-action television shows. So what do you think? Leave a comment on Twitter if that's where you're seeing this, or here on the Blaster app, which you can download if you haven't done already for free in the App Store. Blaster app, all one word. Also, go to mynerdworld.net if you need more information about the podcast that I do or my Embark Science Fiction Space Opera book series. Books 1 and 2 are available right now. Book 3 is currently being worked on, should be out sometime within the first few months of the year, January or February. So I'll have further commentary later on today about The Mandalorian on the podcast. Thanks for listening to this, and I hope you have a great one. Bye.